Shri Uday Mahrurkar, Senior Journalist, Political Analyst and Author, Deputy Editor of India Today Group. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much.
I am privileged to be here today. Dr. Rahul Karad has been inviting me for the last about 6 months, and it's a truly magnificent place and with a global message. So thank you for inviting me. Actually, I was not coming for this event, But when I saw this particular topic, reporting in conflict times, I thought I had covered a lot of conflicts right from 2002 Gujarat riots, and I thought I must share my views with you. I have very unconventional views. When Ahmedabad used to suffer from communal riots in 85, I had just entered the profession. Then I saw the 1992 riots following Babri demolition, then 2002 riots. And my experiences, I have not many charitable things to say about my own fraternity. In every riot, the reporting on both the sides were very slanted. When I say both, there is one which is, sold as a Hindutva side or the nationalist side, and the other is the leftist side. In both the cases, the reporting has been such that it has added to the conflict. Let me start with 2002 riots. 59 people were killed on 27th Feb 2002 as a result of burning of a train by a group of people in Godhra. And for 8 long years, a vast section of the media continued to report that that train burning was an accident. 500 people were there who had attacked that train, but for 8 long years, till 2010, till the judgment came, I think a very vast majority of the newspapers and publications from Delhi and Bombay kept on reporting that this is an accident. So now you see the evidence. 500 people attacked. There are more than 3 to 4 dozen witnesses in the incident. Most of the witnesses, I think 95% of witnesses, don't turn hostile in the court. Generally, what we see in police investigation is that when a witness gives his statement before the police, he does it under coercion, and in the court he turns hostile. Here, most of the witnesses did not turn hostile, a vast majority of them. So, only thing which the media had to do was to go and talk to the witnesses. No, very few people did, And for 8 long years, we were told that it is an accident. And this led to inflaming of passions. On the other hand, there was this vernacular media in Gujarat, which also went hammer and tongs, against the minority community. I know of 2 people in the Godhra case among the accused who were acquitted by the court in 2010. Both were innocent, I was aware from day one. But media painted them as villains, So on both the sides, there was no effort at reconciliation. You see, in reconciliation, I think media plays a very important role. You see, when you do something in the heat of a moment, after a while you feel that you might have committed a mistake and you have to face the God. But if the media is indulging in slanted reporting from both the sides, then things get inflamed so much that there is, you see, Gujarat riots, had they been reported properly, would have ended within a month. They continued for 6 months because of this one-sided reporting on both the sides. Same thing happened in 2016 case, in the JNU sedition case. There was a video showing people raising slogans against the nation and calling for the dismemberment of the country. And still a very vast section of the media kept on saying, kept on protecting those very people who has raised these slogans. So you see, there has to be, there is no school which can train you for moral it has to come from within. And this is happening again and again. In Kashmir also, if you see, there was a gentleman in the morning, I think he was from BBC, correct? Now, what reporting BBC, Washington Post, and what you call New York Times are doing? All the three newspapers are they're bent upon showing Indian Army as an army of occupation, as an army which is not very fair to the people. The fact remains that in the UN peacekeeping operations, Indian Army is the most liked army by the UN people. India, in your UN peacekeeping operations in the African countries where there is a lot of conflict, conflict between clans, there Indian Army is considered to be the most befitting. And today also India's contribution to the UN peacekeeping force is at number 3. So how can an army which is being lauded by UN become very brutal in Kashmir? So small little incidents are being played up. For example, Major Gogoi, he was being attacked by a group of stone pelters, and had he allowed that, he would have been killed himself. So he tied a person on the jeep as a shield, and that whole thing was played up as if it was a great human rights violation. My question is, he should have got killed? Should he have allowed himself to be killed, So I think there is no school, as I said. Another thing I want to share here is, another thing I want to share is, you see there are 3 kinds of conflicts. One is physical, another is political, and third is intellectual conflict. Now, this is a very good example of intellectual conflict on Nehru. Now, Nehru, if you see these days, for the last 1 or 2 years, if you read one side, that Nehru is a villain. You read the other side, Nehru is a hero. Now, Nehru, the job of the media is to bring the true Nehru. Of course, Kashmir was his mistake. Nobody can deny that. He committed many mistakes, but then you can't forget that Nehru was an institution builder. IIT, which is currently one of the best institutions in the world, IIM, these are all creations of Nehru, So I think all of us need to sit together and think about it, because I don't think there is any school which can give moral training or moral teaching. Thank you so much.